Hey, relay friends, it's Lindsey Hein here. I'm joined with Mike Coe and Erika Kemp, and we all three had our own separate running situations this weekend that we're all excited to talk about. I was at the C&O Financial Indianapolis Monumental Marathon. Mike, where were you?
I think it was in Elgin, Illinois, but it was at a Boy Scout camp. It was an 8K cross country race with multiple creek crossings in the snow. It's the first time I ever raced 8K. First time I ever raced a cross country, like I guess a true cross country course like that. So it was a very new experience for me.
Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, I had a lot of fun. Have no idea how to race a race like that. So I kind of ran it like a very foolishly. I had a lot of regrets, but I had a good time.
Okay, and Erika. Erika, you had your own big effort this weekend.
I was in Boston yesterday for the B.A.A half, which was officially my first or my longest run since Tokyo.
How did it go?
It was good. It wasn't like super flashy, but I will say it was better than I anticipated because you just like never really know how you're going to come off a marathon. And I've like heard from friends and peers that it's easier to come off a good one versus a bad one. Like physically, it almost feels tougher to come back from like a bad marathon, which is like just an extra bummer on top of already not running a good one. So this was like the first race in a while that we went into it, and like my pre-race chat with my coach was so funny because we were just like, we have no idea how this is gonna go. We like have semi attempted to train for it, but not really because you have to like respect the marathon and the recovery process. So it's like, I guess we'll do like a 4 mile tempo and like a couple mile repeats and hope for the best. But we like didn't force like a long run or anything before that. He's like, you've run halves before. You don't need to like run that much. So it was a lot of uncharted territory, but I had a lot of fun. It was a really nice day. It didn't rain. The it was yeah, I had fun. It was good.
What was the competition like there? I was so involved in my own head in Indianapolis that I was paying no attention, and I should know these things and I don't. So fill us in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was billed to me as a much softer field, and then I showed
Oh,
up. Like I was super happy with my effort. I honestly ran about the same time I did the one time I ran it like 3 or so years ago, and I will say I think it's harder than the Boston Marathon course. Like it is unrelenting climbs. It is like if you went out and just ran that course just on an easy run, you would be like, why would you ever race this? Like you never stop climbing for 13 miles. And it's like, oh, the first few miles are downhill. And it's like, yeah, barely. So it is not a course for like the faint of heart. So it's usually not particularly fast. And like it's in November in Boston. It's usually like cold, windy, rainy. And we actually had a beautiful day yesterday. And everyone ran so fast. It was really, really, I mean, Kira is getting ready for Valencia. She looked great. She ran super well. Molly Bourne from the Puma team down in Raleigh ran really well. Megan Saylor from the B.A.A ran like 69 minutes on that
Wow.
course, which like I would say you can easily take off like 2 full minutes at least for that course because it is like absolutely insane. There were a lot of like East African athletes that also crushed it. So it was a much deeper field than I was led to believe until the start list came out, which was like good and bad because it's like nice to get back out there. But at the same time, you're like, I'm woefully unprepared for this. But it was really nice to see like Lindsay Flanagan out there, Rachel Smith back from her second baby, like get
Aw.
some miles in with them and see them like crushing it out on the course. So it was nice. It was like nice to see a lot of people I haven't seen run in a while. And like it seemed like everyone had like a really solid day, especially the people running like December marathons.
Yeah, because Lindsay Flanagan also was scheduled to run Chicago and she bumped to Valencia. So that's
Yeah.
exciting. I don't think I knew Rachel Smith was doing halves. Has she been doing
She's
halves more?
uh I feel like she's been kind of sneaky about it. Like
Sneaky.
even
Okay.
yeah, like every now and then I feel like she's hopped in the 15K before. I think she might have done like maybe one other half, but she's hopped in like a 10 mile and she's just like so unbelievably good. But you're just like, you're so used to her on the track that like I've showed up to like road races in the last few years and it's like 15K or more, and you're like, why is Rachel here? And then Rachel's like kicking your ass, and you're like, that's why Rachel's here.
That's awesome.
I saw in some clips that you had run with Lindsey. Did you like who did you run with? Were you by yourself for this run? And like what was the race plan going in?
Yeah, the lack of race plan was not super helpful because, like, we
Okay.
just knew the course was going to be so hard, and
Yeah.
like I had no idea how I was going to feel after 6 miles. So Kurt told me to thread the needle because he's like, you're like fit enough to like try like hard, but like you're not quite fit enough to like compete at the top and a half right now. And he kept saying thread the needle, which is like, what does that even mean? So the whole time, like, he also was like, yeah, like if the first mile's like downhill and like fast, like try not to like get too caught up in it. And it was literally me leading the first mile because I was like, oh, this is great. We're jogging. And then we came through the mile in like 5:15. And I was like, I have already ruined my own day, but it's fine. So then like I settled and ended up running a lot of miles with Lindsay, which was really nice because the way I mean the men start first, so then the elite women are kind of by themselves. So like you can easily find yourself like in no man's land, and there's so many like 1 mile hills that you are just like staring up the entire time you're climbing. Like thankfully there's a lot of like U-turns, which like sucks for momentum, but is great to see like the crowd and the masses on the other side. So you're not like just completely lonely out there. But I ran with Lindsay for probably 8 miles, and then right around mile 9, Rachel caught us, and then I was just, like, fighting to stay with Rachel for the rest, but she really crushed those, like, last few hills, especially, like, 8.5 to 9.5 was a really big climb and also, like, just past my limit of where I'm at, so I was like, I could be done right now. But then I was like, I'm like so close to being done. And I kept seeing people I knew in Boston, like out on the course cheering. So it was like, would always give me another win. Cause I'm like, you can't quit right in front of your friends. So I was like, all right, I'll like give it a go for like one more mile. But then that course is so mean because you finally finish that climb from 8.5 to 9.5. And then you get maybe a 30-second reprieve before you're staring straight up again. And it doesn't stop until you get to like 11 and change. And you're like, I'm so done going uphill and it won't stop. And it doesn't stop until like mile 13. And then you're like in the finishing chute. And that's that.
So you feel like you ripped the Band-Aid off?
I ripped so many band-aids off. Like my like Instagram caption was like, "Oh, I haven't run this many hills since Boston 23," but like I'm so serious. I literally have not. But great practice if you're ever considering running the Boston Marathon. It's like it'll give you some hills for sure.
It sounds miserable.
Yeah. But it was a beautiful day and the course is really
Okay.
pretty as long as the
Yeah.
leaves haven't been like blown off the trees yet. So like
Okay.
on that front we got super lucky.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. And so like what does that mean for you in terms of your next couple weeks of training, given like it seemed to have gone well? And it seems like you threaded the needle as instructed.
More or less.
So what does that mean?
It means we're actually gonna like start training hard. Like this was supposed to be our like springboard into like big girl workouts to get ready for next year. So I think we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. I had fun. I got to see a lot of like running friends that I haven't seen in a while because if you don't go to the same races, you just don't see people for like a year.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. But yeah, it was super fun.
Well, very cool. That's
You know, it's
exciting.
interesting how you said, like, okay, now I'm ready to really train. Because before the Monumental Half, I hosted an elite panel, and Anne Marie Blaney was on the panel. And after the interview, we were kind of just talking, and she was like, I think she's running Valencia. And so she was kind of basically saying, like, I'm running really hard, but like, this is not my goal race. And so I'm always wondering, like, I just feel like we never know what people are doing in a half marathon. Like you're showing up at the start line. We all know Erika Kemp is really fast, but like also what is the storyline that got you here and what is your storyline for the next 3 months, you know?
Yeah.
So I never know how to like analyze half marathon results, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you actually know the athletes, like I don't ever like tell people how they did, if that makes sense. Like, I'm always like, what do you think about it? Or like, how do
Yeah.
you feel about it? Because then, like, I have no idea how they felt going in. So I'm like, let's just see how they feel first. And then we'll see if it was like a good or bad day.
I think I'm gonna start doing that for every interview. How did
Yeah,
you feel about
let
it?
them start.
So good.
But speaking of interesting courses, Mike, you said there were several creek crossings.
Yeah, so I picked this race because one, we talked with Marcus about British cross country and its cross country season worldwide in the U.S. as well, and like every time I've been on a cross country course or I think about cross country, I'm very quickly corrected by Europeans that like that's not really cross country. So I was like, all right, well, I'm interested in this world and I want to try something different. And so I was kind of like looking around for like cross country races, and there happened to be one like not too far from where I live. And it's in the middle of November in northern Illinois, which could mean just about anything weather-wise. And so like the course description is like there might be creek crossings depending on how high the water level is, but it ended up that it snowed that morning overnight and that morning. So we had a decent amount of snow, nothing crazy, like the roads were fine, but enough that like there was snow on the ground. And the water in the creek was very, very cold. And there ended up being 3 creek crossings per lap, and there was 2 laps. So like I'm going through the water 6 times. I don't mind getting my feet wet. I kind of think it's a lot of fun. But the way that this creek bed was, it was just a lot of incline to get down to the water, and then a little bit. I mean, it probably wasn't even that much. It just felt like a lot. And like every time we went through it, I just felt like I got passed by a person every time I went into the water, or anytime there was like a little hill. And none of the hills were that big, but everything was really punchy coming off of a turn, and then just like it just felt like a gut punch every time. I would sometimes pass people back, on the straights or coming down the hill, but like any time that there was like a change in grade, like I was just I felt very not fit, and I felt like I was redlining the entire time but never moving quickly. I think I'm getting the
That
sense that
sounds
that's
like
what cross country.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like I did it right, but I
Yeah.
definitely like paced it a little bit wrong because and I'm realizing maybe I'm the reason why my daughter always paces her cross country races poorly. I always tell her like at big races, like look, you're not the number 1 seed at this race. Like you shouldn't be the first one out of the chute at the top of the hill. Like let someone else take it out, let them do the work. And I try to tell her, and she never does it. She always tries to be first. This race, I was like 200, like a quarter mile in. I was in 3rd place in this race. And then I was like, this feels kind of good, I guess. And then a hill happened, and I was like, oh no, that was a mistake. I think I've made a big mistake. And then like about a mile and a half into the race, I'm feeling like garbage. And we went through like a muddy, like little creek bed, and I thought that was the creek crossing. I was like, oh, that wasn't bad. And then and then we hit the water, and I was like, oh, this is much
That's
worse than
funny.
I was expecting. And I looked at my watch. I'm like, how much of this race is left? And we were a mile and a half in. And I was like, oh my goodness,
You have
this
like
is going to be a long
3 and
day.
a half to go.
This is going to be a long, long day. But like there was always like someone kind of either I could hear them behind me or someone up right in front of me that I could kind of like at least be like, just don't let the gap get bigger. So it was really fun to kind of like chase people through the woods. And like to me, it didn't feel like any cross country race I'd ever done in high school. But like, I guess the closest would have been like the Homedale course in New Jersey. Like that one kind of has the ball, and it's like you do run through the woods quite a bit. But this was muddier. It was snowy, and most people were in trail shoes and not in spikes. And so it was like it was another level. And to me, it just felt like a very painful short trail race rather than like a cross country race. But there was a nice like very long. Slight downhill finish. So like I did get a chance to kind of like, that's the only time I felt like I was moving fast. But by then everyone was a little bit too far ahead of me, so I couldn't catch anyone. But I had a good time. Running like an idiot. But maybe next time I'll be able to to figure it out a little bit better. But it was a good experience.
I do also feel like an 8K though is like pretty much red line territory no matter what the terrain is.
I mean, yeah, I was looking at it like, I mean, I'm getting ready for Valencia as well, and
Oh, I didn't
so I
know
was like,
that.
yeah, so I'm in like week 8 or like yeah, it's the end of week 8 of 12 weeks of a block for me, and so I was like, all right, well, this will be good. Basically a nice extended threshold effort for me. I don't think it was exactly a threshold effort. I think it was a lot of like VO2 max and then
Mm-hmm.
panting for a little bit and then feeling despair and then feeling, oh, okay, maybe I can run some more. And then it ended up being VO2 max. So it was like hopping around all over the place. Not the most disciplined run. I did not thread the needle, as they say, on this
But the
one.
like despair and then getting yourself back into running is definitely good marathon training.
Yeah. So I feel like,
Totally.
mentally it was a good exercise. And
Yeah.
I think on the first snow of the season, way more enjoyable than any like road threshold workout that I could have done. So like it was overall like good medicine, I think. And I have positive memories from the experience overall. But like, it was like I wish I could have tapered a little bit for it. I wish I could have done a little bit better. Um but they'll hopefully there'll be this is the first of many um of cross country races because it is fun to kind of just get out there and just run recklessly a little bit.
Yeah. You had some fun, got some
Hmm.
fitness, and got
Hmm.
a sweet shirt out of it.
Yeah, I'm wearing the
Oh,
shirt now. It is for the race shirt they gave out a flannel shirt, and this is like the logo from the
incredible.
race. It's embroidered. It's not
That's so
silkscreen.
nice.
And there's a little guy running with an axe, and I'm gonna keep pretending that it's a dude running with a selfie stick. So
Dude,
I
That's
feel
good.
that shirt is sick.
like, like I'm not like a ultra marathon or belt buckle kind of guy. I feel like this is the closest I'm gonna get. So I feel
Yeah.
like,
It's good.
I like this shirt. It's a really nice one.
I'd rather get a flannel shirt than like a race tee. Like I think that we
Yeah.
should start advocating for this.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw it when I signed up for this race, I was like, I don't know. That looks okay, but I was like, because it kind of reminded me of like, Erica, I don't know if it was still a thing when you were in college, but Lindsay and I think like scrubs with like logos on it was like huge for it. So like it kind of reminded me of that. Um, but now that I have it, I'm like, oh, I kind
Wait,
of
I
really
don't
like this.
remember wearing scrubs,
Or maybe
Mike.
maybe it was already over by the time you came through
I mean,
college.
I was a receptionist at a doctor's office for a
Okay.
year out of college
Yeah.
because I like didn't know what I was doing with my life, and that's what I did
Mhm.
for a year because I
Okay.
needed health insurance. Um, and I did love my scrubs a lot, but that's the only time I remember wearing scrubs.
So all right. So I graduated in 2001,
I
and at the
graduated you graduated high school or college?
college in 2001.
See, I graduated college in 2006, so
Okay.
you are my elder.
So let me tell you, at the turn of the century,
Like
people,
literally, I'm like, you were like an adult during Y2K.
yes, yes,
That's crazy.
uh, people went nuts for stuff like anything scrubs.
Yeah.
Like people just went
Why do I
wild.
not remember
It was
this?
like it was
That's
the
so
beginning
funny.
of like like lounge wear that you could wear
Mm.
like like that was I feel like the beginning
Uh-huh,
of it.
uh-huh.
So
Give me all the loungewear.
a little
I just
historical
wore
context for
loungewear. I spoke to the entire 3rd grade at my kids' school about podcasting because they're doing a podcasting unit, and so
that's so
the
fun.
teachers
That's
asked me to be the
cool.
guest speaker. I did wear loungewear, but they're like Spanx pants, so they don't look too loungy. I was like, "Can I pull this off for being the school speaker?" I did get the approval from my husband, so,
That's good.
not quite scrubs, though. I didn't get booed off the stage.
I think it's just maybe one of those things where like if they make a period piece
Hmm.
about that turn of the century time,
Uh-huh,
people
uh-huh,
wearing
it'll be
scrubs
included.
that are not medical
Okay,
needs to be a part of it.
okay, okay, I love it. Oh, it's so good.
Noted.
All right, Lindsay, I got a first thing. I know you did so much in Indianapolis, but the main thing I want to know about is how was the after party?
So fun. It was so fun, and I was I was freaking out that we weren't gonna sell enough tickets. It's kind of logistically hard because it's after, and, like, if people were traveling in from Chicago or Nashville or just somewhere driving distance, a lot of them were driving home. Or if they live in the burbs, you finish a marathon and you get home at 1 or 2 o'clock. Are you coming back into the city? I don't think so. Um, so I started reaching out to everybody. I was like, "Please share this," and, we sold out,
Nice. Excellent.
um,
Awesome.
which I know, like, a lot of other people in the running space always sell out, like, Mike, you will sell out everything. That's not how I roll, and I'm okay with that. I had to work really hard for this sellout, but we had people showing up at the door, and we had no tickets left. We did end up letting them in and figuring we had standing room only for the podcast, but yeah, it was really fun. I'm super happy with it, and, yeah, it was awesome.
Well, I
So
think
thank you for sharing.
that is quite a feat because like after marathon stuff is really hard to get people to go to. And like this was a ticketed event that cost money.
That
So like
cost.
even a free event would be hard to like fill a space, I think. And so like to do that, but I was like, if you just help people that there'll be places to sit, then I think
That's
that
what you
goes a
asked
long
me.
way. You know,
Yeah.
that like when you asked me to share it, I was like, one question: will there be seats?
Well, I think too, I was worried. I was getting all in my head about it. I was worried that people were like, "Who does she think she is that she can charge this price for this party?" But we were trying to truly make it a party, not like because I think people expect a live podcast, you can either go for free or go for like 10 bucks. But we had like food. It was we had beer and wine. We made these really cool posters where people could stamp their time from the race, and we had really cool goodie bags. Like it was a bigger like festive event. And I was trying to get people to understand that, but I think it might have been a little bit harder. Because if it were just a live podcast, I probably would have still put at least a $10 ticket on it just because when everything's free, people sign up and then they maybe don't come. So anyway, yeah, it ended up being good. And I think my hope is that we've kind of set this precedence that like, hey, if you come to Indy Monumental, we got you for the shakeout run and we got you for the after party. So like if you stay the whole weekend, we've got things for you to do because at all the major marathons, there's like meetups galore and parties
Mhm.
galore, shakeout runs galore, but that's not necessarily the case at a race like Indy. And so I think after this year, we've kind of been able to say, hey, look, we're going to make this whole weekend a good time for you, not just the race. I think.
I love
No, I
that.
mean,
It looks
I
so
think
fun.
Yeah, I think that's great because when I did it, it was like maybe 2017, 2018. Like me and a buddy drove down, and then we spent the night there afterwards. But we were like, I guess we'll find a place to go eat. And then we're like,
Yeah.
where did all the runners go? Like, where are they? We don't know. Like, I mean, I guess like social media was a little bit different then. I mean, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but I guess it was. And so we were just like, well, I mean, we're not we're not unable to figure out what to do, but it would have been nice if it was like, oh, this is where people will be at, because
Yes.
like I
That's what
feel
I'm
like
trying to do.
after that race, there's not like a beer garden area like there is
Mhm.
at like Chicago, for example. I know Chicago's different because it's a major, but like a lot of races have like even
Totally.
grandmas. There's music, there's vendors, there's food trucks, there's a beer garden. There's something to do. I don't remember there being something like that in Indy. And so we're like, all right, well, I guess we'll get cleaned up. We're cold anyway. So then now what? And so I was really excited to see that there was an event like this.
Yeah, I think with Indy too, most of the time it's pretty cold. Like you're not like yesterday or Saturday's weather was absolutely perfect. I don't think you would have wanted it to be any different. I mean, it couldn't have been any better. But you finish, you're sweaty and you're freezing and like everybody wants to go inside. We also made it at 4:30 so that like I was like, okay, 4:30 to 6:30 and then people can go get dinner after. So it was like, appetizers and stuff. But yeah, you guys, Indy, the weather was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, and again, we talked about this 2 years ago on Relay. More vomit at that finish line than
No,
any other
that's so
race.
real. I was like I was supposed to race the half last year, and then I got hurt like the week before, but they were still like, since I think Brooks is one of their sponsors, so they were like,
Yes,
oh,
it is.
like please still come out, like do a pod, like or do a panel and like come like be at the marathon finish line for like finish tape and photos with the
Well, you
winners. And I was
came.
like, yeah. So I was there last year. Again, perfect weather. But as I was standing there like greeting the finishers, I was like, I've never seen so many people vomit. And like I've spectated a lot of majors, you see a couple, but Indy, for whatever reason, it's like every third human being to cross that line pukes. And like they have like a whole bucket system. And I was like, I've never wondered why like some finish lines are so wet. And it's because they're like splashing these like random buckets of water to like disperse it. But it was never ending. Like I was horrified.
Well, so I didn't MC last year, the year before I did though, and I was like, "Why are there so many people throwing up? This is crazy." And
Like
then I thought,
literally why?
I don't know. And so I thought maybe the mix was weird, but I'm like, most of the people are like either pros, like, or sub elites, and they probably had a bottle. And so I thought, well, maybe it was a fluke that year. But then this year I was like, it's happening again. And, somebody at the finish line with me was like, "It happened last year too." Oh, Big River Race, the time
Hmm.
management guy, the time company. They said, "Same thing happened last year." My only theory is that Indy brings in so many sub-elite runners that are willing to push themselves to the
Yeah.
absolute limit.
And
So
like
many
last year
people.
was also like perfect weather too. So I think everyone just got caught up in the like, this is my day. Like if there was a moment to like actually get that PB and like swing for the fences, it is right now. And they all did it. And
I mean,
we
and then
all saw the result.
people would cross because I was kind of just like standing in the middle. There's like two finishing chutes, and I
Yeah.
had found a little spot, and I kind of walked around a little bit. Sometimes I sat, but anytime someone came next to me, put their hands on their knees, I just bolted. I was like, because you know it was about to come out. I mean, and it significantly decreases the more time goes on, right? It is the
Yeah.
people in the front that are puking.
Those first
Um,
45 minutes were traumatizing as someone on the other side of the finish line. I
I
was
was
just like,
Emily
I
Enfield
don't
was there
think
with me,
this
and she
is
was like,
normal.
"What is going on? What is happening?"
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't just I mean, it's unfortunate it was this year too, but, like, literally last year, I was like, "Does this happen a lot? Like, is there something in the air?"
It is because I've
Because the
never
weather
seen
was
it.
great, so you're like, "What is happening?"
Because I'll do Richmond this weekend, and it's a similar course as far as, like, it's also a very fast course. Their times and their records aren't as fast, and like, number of sub-elites is way higher at Indy. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, but I did look it up, and I believe I could have this wrong. If ChatGPT is right, there were 14 Olympic trials qualifiers at Indy and 9 women. And there was one woman, I'm going to look her name up because I was so nervous. She crossed the finish line. Her name's Cassidy. And it said 2:37:01.
She got it by, like, 3 seconds, I think I
Yeah.
saw. Yeah.
But we didn't know. And you just saw her coming down that home stretch, just so like fighting for it, fighting for it. And I saw it and I'm like, okay, I hope she wasn't like right on. I figured she probably wasn't because I figured she might have been like a row or two behind the dudes who were right on the line. So yeah, it was really exciting. There were so many amazing performances. It was just a great day. You got to run that marathon if you haven't.
I feel like that's something that Indy needs to put out because I feel like relying on ChatGPT for that number is not something I want to be doing.
Wait, maybe
But
they did put it out, and maybe
but
it's on their
I
Instagram.
do care a lot about like was it because I feel like like it's just to me that's just an important indicator if of a race is fast as how many people be cute.
Mhm.
Like that's the kind of stuff that I
Yeah, they
think is
haven't
really
posted it.
interesting. So like hopefully they'll maybe give us an official count. Maybe they don't know. But
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Well, we're gonna talk about it on Road to the Trials for sure.
yeah. But
Um,
that's super fun, and it's like it's exciting to see the momentum starting to build for people that are starting to take swings or starting to like lay the foundation, they're like, all right, well, we'll get within 3 minutes on this, now that we're a couple of years out, and then maybe the next year we'll start chopping that down. So it's
Mhm.
exciting to see. I think I just had a conversation with someone else like, I think this is going to be one of the most exciting. I mean, the trials last time was my favorite event of the entire year. I mean, I went to the Olympics marathon too, but like that was just much more fun for me because it's like my whole Instagram is here. But like to see the chase, I think seeing the chase over the next couple of years is one of the things I'm most excited about in running right now, and I think it's going to be just a lot of fun to go along on this ride with everyone to see like who's gonna try, who's gonna make it, who's not gonna make it. It's just gonna. I'm just so excited, and I love what you guys are doing with the series.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, Peter and Matt are doing way more work with that than I am. I should make sure that they get their credit for that. I just hop on interviews mostly. Maybe I should ask if I should do more. Um, but the what you're saying, yeah, like there was a significant number of women who ran like 240, and it's like, oh, you have time. Like there's plenty of time to then come back to Indy next year or wherever and knock that down. I will say too, the men's course record went from 215 to 212,
That's
which
huge.
is huge. And also a competitive time, right? Like I
Yeah.
think going down from 215 to 212, you're putting yourself in like a totally different category there. So it's exciting to see. I'm ready for the women's record at Indy to go sub 230. So come on, Erica,
Okay.
just come get you a marathon. Just run an extra one year or something.
In mid-November.
Yeah.
I'll see if it fits in the schedule.
No, the woman who won though, she ran 232. So I think we're on our way. I think we're
Yeah.
on our way to it going sub 230 for sure.
I mean, like, I
That's a
feel like the
surprise to
half
me.
out there is already like super impressive.
Yeah.
Like Carrie ran super fast. I don't know if she ran faster than Emma Grace last year, but like that's a very good course record for the women.
Yeah, Emma Grace ran 68. I can't remember if Carrie was under 69 or not. She was
She
definitely
was.
okay. Oh, so it was
But
close
I think
then.
Emma Grace was like a little
A
faster
little bit
last year.
faster. Yeah, Carrie looked good. She was like, and afterwards I interviewed her and she was like, seemed fresh as a daisy, to be honest. Like she
That's
looked good.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
last year I was at the finish because like Emma Grace, literally part of the reason she said she signed up was because like I was running really well and I said I was going to do Indy half and then I got hurt. So then
Oh.
she was like out there by herself, but she had like so many great, like she had a great group of guys to run with. And it was like literally her debut half and she ran like 68 low. But she was part of the crew that threw up at the finish line.
She was.
Which you're like, I wanted to greet her and be like, oh my God, great debut. But you're also like, ah.
I'm gonna give you a minute.
Yeah, literally.
It's
You're like,
wild.
you take a second.
It is yeah, it is wild. I do not think Carrie threw up.
Nice.
But the Indy finish line, they keep it open for 7 hours. And
Nice.
so and then the last wave starts a half an hour later. So the finish line crew, we are there for a very long time. Like I finished at 3:45
Mm-hmm.
and my event started at 4:30. I tried to get on like 7 different Lime scooters to get over to my event, which was like a mile and a half away, and they were all dead from spectators. So I like had my backpack. I'm like hobbling because my foot's all messed up, just like
Oh, no.
trying to sprint to Bottle Works Hotel. It was a very, very long day, but I would not miss the end of the marathon, like the last finishers for anything. Like it is the best thing to witness ever.
That sounds so exhausting.
It is.
To be at the finish line for that long and then to go immediately directly to an event, that's wild.
Well, and I had interviewed Emily at the expo. So I did the elite
Okay.
panel and then I had Emily and I had a one-on-one. And I had every intention on I was like, "I will get to prepping for the event, da, da, da," and I showed up and I was like, "Emily, I have nothing written down. I have no idea what we're gonna talk about, but we're gonna be fine." And it was fine because Emily can just
I
go
was gonna
off, you
say,
know?
Emily doesn't need
No,
a series of
Yeah.
questions. Just give her a
no.
mic.
Yeah, she's good. I did feel a little ill prepared, but I was just running on adrenaline, you know? So it was such a good day. I am a, Indy Monumental evangelist for sure.
It's a fun event, and I keep
It is a good event.
wanting to go back. And I've only been there the one time, and so I'm thinking about the half for next year,
Super
because
speedy.
It is.
it's a fast one. And I don't when I ran the marathon there, it didn't seem like a lot of people were going there to run the half, and it seems like
Hmm.
that's changed, where people are going there for the half now. And so like I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
that's
hear what you're
interesting.
saying.
I like that. Because then, like, just like in Houston, I prefer running the half to the
Mhm.
marathon because then you get to run a little bit and you get to cheer on some marathoners a little bit. You get a little bit of everything from like a
Mhm.
It's like a marathon buffet weekend, you know? You get to have all sides of it. And so I'm thinking like that could be a good way to approach Indy next year.
Well, and you are yeah, and you see more pros coming to run the half,
Uh,
like how Erica was gonna come last year. You see more sub-elite pros running the marathon and more pros coming to run the half. Like Zach Panning was gonna run the half too, but he had to scratch because of an injury. So, yeah, and Anne Marie, like there's usually some pretty notable names in the half marathon for sure.
Yeah, I mean that being said, like I feel like from like the participant side though, like I
Yeah.
I don't know anyone of my running friends that has run the half there. Everyone that goes, like most people
Mhm.
that I know that do it, like they didn't get into Chicago, so they
Okay.
signed up for Indy. You know, was
Yeah.
kind of like it's either like you do Indy or you do like Detroit Free Press. If you can't get into Chicago, and so that's how I got to Indy. Because my friend couldn't get to Chicago that year, and so we're like, all right, we'll do Indy together, you know. And so like that's how I do it, and I still don't know anyone who's like other than pros that have like it was like I went down to run a fast half from like a regular person perspective, but
I wonder, I bet there's a higher contingency of local runners doing the half or like local adjace, within an hour or two. They're like,
yeah,
"Oh,
but
let's
I
pop
mean like
down."
for a regular person, a mid November or early November half marathon sounds really nice.
Yeah.
It's a good time of year for that. So
We're going to wrap it up here. Your girl has run club. She's got to go coach. And yeah, that's it. That's how we're going to end relay today because I've got the record button and this is what we're doing. So, we'll see you next week on relay. Thank you for being here.